All right, one of these compressors, it's this one here, out of the 2016 Volkswagen Jetta, was replaced because of collision damage, and the shaft was hit, and the shaft is tweaked a little bit. I'm in a live shop, so there's a lot of noise every now and then. Oil balance is one of the issues that we're going to talk about here. Unfortunately, the new compressor was OEM, and it came, a lot of OEMs come with no instructions at all, not even the slightest hint of what's going on. And sometimes now, I've said this in other videos, OEMs are no longer always shipping their compressors with the complete oil charge. In this case, I deemed it was, even though I didn't get to check this out. The technician just threw it on, didn't bother looking up any manufacturer's information, but this one does have oil in it, but sometimes they come with no oil on it. This one was in an accident where it sheared off the lower line, the liquid line. Now the liquid line also contains the majority of oil because it's liquid, so it's actually holding on to the oil, and when the liquid rushes out from having a quick shear off, it will pull the liquid oil out with it. So the liquid line is also attached to like these bottom, in this case it's 1, 2, 3, 4. These bottom 4 rows are usually filled with majority of liquid, and it's off the bottom where it feeds off of the receiver dryer. We don't call this a receiver dryer. In this, well, it's kind of a receiver dryer. It has the desiccant top, but it's not that black can that you'd normally see on cars. Now this is normal, but the receiver dryer, that would be separate. So at the very bottom of this, the oil resides with liquid refrigerant. At the very lowest tubes, this is liquid refrigerant with a high percentage of oil in it. This line is at the very lowest part in the car. If you actually took a side view, the evaporator is up there, and the lines come down at a rough angle, and they keep coming down, 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 all the way down here. This is the lowest point. So whether the car was at rest or if it was in motion and the AC was on, is circulating, this is always your highest pressure, except when off, then they're equal pressures, but this one will have all the liquid in it. So when you get in an accident and this gets instantly sheared off, there's this rush to release the pressure of refrigerant, both backwards coming down the line from the expansion valve and from the condenser out the sheared off line, instantly draining this reservoir of liquid right here that contains oil. This condenser on the bottom subcooling fins and tubes, instantly releasing. So you lose a larger percentage of oil than if you were doing a recovery. And when you do your recoveries, you're doing it from the vapor side line, and in this case it's way up high and the liquid is far away, so you don't get so much oil. You might get 5-10 milliliters of refrigerant oil with your refrigerant if you're doing a quick recovery on a hot day and it was a completely full system. You sometimes will get a little bit of oil out of the system. But if I were to do just the recovery off of the liquid line, what goes right to the bottom here, and if I could pull out just pure liquid really fast, I could remove, if I wanted to, a few ounces of oil, and that would be bad. So in this case, that the technician put on a brand new compressor. He didn't go and bother to read anything, he just slapped it on. And this one I know actually has a full charge. It has 120 or 115 cc's or milliliters of refrigerant oil in it. The system will be a little bit overcharged with oil because there's still some oil up in the evaporator, but it's not as bad as oil charge, over oil charge, and they're not going to take it off for me to do an oil balance. They don't, you know, they want to get it out of here, unfortunately. Feel sorry for the customer, but too much oil lowers the performance of your AC when you have too much oil. On some compressors, it takes out front shaft seals. Worst case scenario, especially we used to know this from the old Radio 4s, you break cranks on shafts, and you get sheared compressors where it was a nice clean break on the inside. But in this case, it's a little over oiled. I know this one did a rapid loss of refrigerant, so it took out some oil in the first place. So I'm not too worried about the over oiled condition on this one. And I think this is a aftermarket condenser too. Looking at this sucker, I gotta go grab the other condenser and see. Yeah, that's about it. So the situation I have over here, if you watch many of my videos, you already know. But we have our 12 CFM, we have a compressor, God man, speech just ain't great today. A vacuum pump that could pull down to 3 microns. It'll never do that in the real world going through hoses. You're never supposed to read or do anything through gauge set anyway, because that's the worst way to do it. But as this system stands right now, at this point where the sensor is, I'm below 100 microns, and it's only been on the system for about 5 minutes now. If you wanted to check what the capability of your gauge set is from here and look for leaks anywhere from hoses, fittings, the seals up in here, any of your other seals, just undo your fittings from the system, and this will tell you what the capability of your vacuum pump is and your gauges. So now you see it going down, and I know if I leave it here another 15-20 minutes, this will go down to about 30 microns when I have it set up exactly like this on this system. And with it to the system, I'm down below 80 microns right now. Another thing I'm going to show you later on is how to use the tool to test your valve for your displacement of compressors and all your different adapters. So you have all your, here's all your, for female, to take in female, because these are all male plugs here. That has pins inside of it too that are male, so you have your female. Then you have your other bag for the ones that have pins in them to accept for the ones that are female on this side. You could take your ohm reading of your coil, because these are nothing more than a little coil on there. So when you hook it up, take your ohm check and you'll know whether or not your coil is open, because then it'll say out of limit, you know, like infinite ohms. Or if it's shorted, it'll go like 0 ohms or 0.1 ohms. These are normally somewhere around 10, 11, 12 ohms. Future video coming up on that. And I was trying to divide a way to show you, I'm gonna have to do a video on it, of hooking up one of these systems, driving it by a drill or a pulley and engaging it while you're controlling the valve on the bench, so you can actually move the swash plate and vary the displacement from near 0, where when you put your fingers over it, nothing, you know, almost nothing's happening. Drive it all the way forward while it's on the bench spinning, and all of a sudden you can hear and feel it pumping. Future video coming up, and I'll see you guys from there. This is definitely ready to pump down. We're at that 53 microns, so this can be recharged. All right guys, see you later.